evening. Welcome to Ubuntu channel, and we are live again today, the 8th of March 2024, as we celebrate Women's Day. We wish all the women in Zambia and beyond the borders of Zambia a happy International Women's Day. We honor you and we respect you, but we are back today as usual because it's a Friday, and we bring to you a program we call Ubuntu Sports, and I'm joined by the Ubuntu analyst. Lameck is back, and also being joined by Mr. Abia. Let me start with Lameck. Lameck, it's been long on the show. Welcome back, and welcome to Ubuntu Sports.
Thank you so much, Reuben, for such a thunderous welcome. It's a beautiful Friday after quite a long time. I can't wait to, get down to the details of the show. I think we've had a lot of good news that we need to share with our followers.
Yeah, sure. Let me cross over to Mr. Abia. Mr. Abia, good evening. Welcome to Ubuntu Sports as well.
Thank you so much, Reuben. Good evening, and good evening to my fellow analyst, Lameck, Banda, after Lameck, after some time. Good evening to the viewers. This is Abia Nyirenda from Chipata, the support of Sparta United. Right now, we are struggling deeply inside the delegation, but we will fight until the end.
All right, we'll talk about Sparta United because something interesting that is happening. We wanted them to play in the National League, and they are doing so, but they're in the relegation zone. But let's start with the big news today, guys. It's Women's Day, and talking of women's sports, we talk about Barbra Banda, another record signing. Of course, not beating Kundananji, but a big signing. We see Barbra Banda, and it's confirmed now, will be going to the US, joining Orlando Pride. How did you receive that news, Lameck?
I feel very proud as a Zambian right now, seeing that the two most expensive women footballers come from Zambia.
Did you see it coming?
It's something special for us as a country, and looking at the journey that a player such as Barbra Banda has had and the impact that she has had on Zambian football, I think this can't be overstated. If you look at, I think, the Copa Queens that we have today, she is the face of the Copa Queens together with the Kundananji. But rolling back the years, when she first made a move to EDF Ligrono in Spain, those years, the impact that she had at the club, and the moves that she later made to China, which I think a number of people criticized, but you can't shy away from a talented player, and I think the move comes in, and she deservedly, I think she deserves that move. For Zambia as a country, I think having our players breaking such records, I think puts us on the map in terms of football. I think our football over the years has been, because we've seen a lot of things happening, a lot of negatives, but I think these are some of the positives that we can look back at in the last few years that have happened over Zambian football.
Great. Did you see it coming that anytime soon Barbra Banda might break the record, and also Kundananji going to the United States and breaking the record in terms of the record signing fees? Did you see it coming?
Not really. I didn't see the record breaking coming, but I think I saw her moving away from the Chinese club. I think a lot had been going on in the background. She was highly linked, I think heavily linked with a move to Paris Saint-Germain. But I think maybe just finer details here and there led to the collapse of that deal. And many other links that she's had, Madrid and other clubs that I think were heavily linked with her. But looking at Orlando Pride and also BFC, I think they both made a bold statement in women's football. I think again, it's a revolution that the Americans have started. I think they also want to dominate world football. If you look at the MLS, yes, it's not that I think they haven't been able to lure the best talents in Europe, but they've been able to lure players that maybe have passed their prime to give the league more visibility and that. And for the women's league also, I think uh, the steps that are taking, I think buying players in their prime, breaking these records, will see, I think, the women's national league in the United States being ranked among I think the top 2 or top 3 best in the world.
All right, let me cross over to Mr. Abia. I'm sure you've also received the news of the of Barbra Banda going to America, signed for Orlando Pride. I want to hear your comment and also how you feel about this move.
Yeah, I heard the news and I received it with two hands. Though on the other side, it's like why our players they are all finding markets in USA. We wanted them to play UEFA Champions League. So hope for these players to join like teams from Spain, team clubs like in England or German or France. But by the end of the day, Ruben, is about the cash that is on the table and how they strike the deal. So it's a lovely congratulations to our Barbra Banda for moving from China to United States of America. I think our players are doing well, Ruben. We have seen that Lecho Kundananji, they are breaking record of transfer, and now Barbra Banda. These players are putting Zambia on the map, and the flag has raised high. That now in the world of sports, they are saying Zambia now is doing well in terms of women soccer. So if we can have such 3, 4 players to follow suit like Barbra Banda and Lecho Kumaranji, I think the history will be made. It has already been made, but it will be continuously made. So I think we all wish Barbra Banda all the best as the league starts. I was checking their calendar. I don't know if I have checked the right one, but they are showing me that the league will start in by the end of this month, March. I think we wait to see them how they will feature in those teams or in those clubs.
Great. At this point, let me welcome Lawrence to the show. Lawrence, good evening. Welcome to Ubuntu Sports, and also want to hear from you. I'm sure you've heard of the big move for Barbra Banda going to the USA and joining Orlando Pride.
Okay, thank you so much, Reuben, for that welcome, and good evening to the viewers who are watching with the channel at this point in time. Well, I received that news actually with great excitement. We now have the most expensive women's player, and we now have the second most expensive women's player. Interesting times ahead for Zambian football, and I think it signals things that it signals a great future for us. We are in such a good place that we are very hopeful. I can't be surprised if maybe Emma Pepper follows through or Avoch Tundo follows. I can't be surprised now because we have made it. We are there. We're on the spotlight now. It's good to see that the whole world has noticed Zambian players. The whole world is looking at us. And in their welcoming video for Barbra Banda, Orlando Pride, you see the clips that they were picking on amazing things. Even games that were played here in Zambia, they took some clips there and they were there on their Facebook page. Shows you that they have probably been following the Zambian national women's team, and they are quite aware of the potential that these players have. Now, also, it's interesting to see that clubs from the US are able to spend that much money on a Zambian player, the amounts they have never spent on their own players from the US, they have never spent that kind of money on. And it's happening for Zambian players. I think it's really a great time to be Zambian at this point.
Great. Let me come back to Lameck. Now, these record signing deals that have taken place for Kundananji and Barbra Banda, do you think now that the world is watching over Zambia and what will be happening? Because these are most expensive players, and this might bring more pressure to the players and maybe affect their performance.
I don't think because the world is watching now, that would in turn bring pressure. Pressure is always there. Football is pressure, and I'm sure players like Barbra Banda, Kundananji, Hazonali, Grace Chanda, all those players have played at the highest level. They've felt the pressure at the highest level. So the attention that comes with breaking such records, yeah, it brings a lot of attention, but don't think it may I think destabilize the performance of the girls. Again, Barbra, Kundananji, these are like generational talents. We are so fortunate to see such players playing together in one team, because it's rare that we would get such talented players in one team. It's like the Messis of Zambian football, Zambian women's football, the Ronaldos of Zambian football. Imagine having a Messi and a Ronaldo in one team. So it's a big occasion for the country and also for the players as well. For me, I'm quite happy that I think the effort that women such as Barbra Banda, the resilience that they've shown over the years, they've undergone a lot of criticism. Look at Kundananji, the criticism that she has faced. Today, she's able to break a record that so many critics never thought she would. So many people that doubted her abilities. So many people questioned the style of play and all that. But today, we have someone out there who's chosen to believe in a young girl and entrust her with such level of finance that has actually never happened around women's football. It's a big occasion, and it's not one thing that as Zambians we need to take lightly. It brings a lot of visibility for the country and for the league. And then on the positive aspect, again, is where if we have women such as Barbra Banda, Kundananji making quite decent amounts of money from their football, it also presents an opportunity for them to reinvest again in the women's game. We've seen them, I think, donating assorted stuff, during their playing days in the different countries they played in. But this one again is another different occasion, and they should also continue, I think, on the same steps and maybe invest in the game a little bit more, see more girls, I think, being given the limelight, also being given the opportunity that Barbra and Kundananji never had when they were young.
All right, let me get it from you, Lawrence. We've seen this happening in football. Most expensive players have gone to different clubs, and we've seen them not perform. That comes with a lot of pressure, and we know the likes of BBC, the likes of CNN, and big media houses, even UBUNU, will be looking and seeing what are they doing in America. More pressure for the team. Are they able to handle it, Lawrence?
Well, looking at players like Barbra Banda, you see the Kundananjis, and if you have followed their careers and things that they have gone through, I think they are mentally up for it. Look, Reuben, we are looking at players who were banned from AFCON, from playing for AFCON. They couldn't play AFCON because of, you remember that fiasco, that testosterone levels fiasco and all that. They stayed out, sat out the whole tournament, and watched their colleagues play and compete for it. They come back and still back in business, normal business resumes. And this is exactly what I see. There is a if you look at Kundananji, actually now teammates with players like the women's footballer of the year, African women's footballer of the year, uh, teammates now. But
Oshwala.
yeah,
Osaka
Oshwala,
Oshwala.
yeah. If you look at the standard, those are the kind of players that we want our players to be rubbing shoulders with. Those are the kind of players we want them to get the exposure from, to learn from, to mingle with, so that they are able to learn. They are able to at least test their skills against the best, or at least contribute with the best. So that as the spotlight is still on Oshoala there, we should be able to see how many assists Kundananji has. We'll be comparing the goals because they're playing for the same team now. Kundananji has this amount of goals and the Oshoala has this amount of goals. This time around, if Kundananji even has more goals against Oshoala, we should even have a better claim to say, hey, how is it now that they are playing for the same team and yet when awards time comes, you seem to be sidelining the players that seem to be doing better in the same team with the people that you keep on pushing as CAF. This is where now we have to draw comparisons from. So if I look at the mental stability of these girls, I think they are up for the task. They are up for the challenge, and I don't expect them to probably go down because of the big money transfers. And remember, the clubs that you have gone to play for, I think they do not attract so much pressure as compared to some leagues and some clubs. If you go to Barcelona, if you go to probably the Chelseas and things like that, there is so much pressure that comes with playing for those particular clubs. But in this particular league, I think they'll be good.
All right. Thank you very much to our viewers. If you've just joined us, this is Ubuntu Sports, and we come every Friday at 20 hours to give you of what is happening in terms of Zambian football. And I'm joined by Lawrence, Lameck, and Abia. And you can also participate by typing in the comment section and also in the live chat if you're joining us via YouTube. Let's move on away now from the women's football, away from Barbra, Banda, and Kundananji. Let's bring it local of what is happening here in Zambia. So there have been a lot of debates concerning the renovations that are being done by FAZ. And last week we saw, this week actually, we saw the National Council for Construction saying the works that have been done at Independence Stadium in Solwezi, they're just okay, and actually they've exceeded the standards. Let me start with you, Lameck. Your comment over that, because we've seen a lot of people argument concerning the stadium in Solwezi.
Yeah, I think it's the stadia renovation of the stadia. I think issues to do with the renovation of the stadiums have been a great source of debate among Zambians who have expressed genuine concern. I think one of the concerns was the duration it took to get the works done compared to the period that was initially proposed. And then once the work was done, I think it was a question of the people seeing what had taken so much time to complete, the standard of works and everything like that. But again, if you look at the budget, the money that was put in, you also look at the statement that the National Construction Council put out. I think it also tried to break down key issues that I think a lot of people are finding difficult in navigating. Issues to do with the scope of work, because they clearly explained parts that I think maybe FAZ had not really explained to the people, that okay, the money that is being allocated to is divided in these areas. These are areas of need, or these are the scopes of this is the scope of work that is supposed to be done with this allocated money. And then one issue that I think as Zambians we don't talk so much about is issues to do with taxation. When people look at the round figure, 350, 360, 380, or $300,000, people would count it as everything will go towards the renovation and the like. But when you bring in taxation, the percentages, you'll find that maybe the remaining budget is way below the maybe 20 or 10 or whatever percent would go to the taxes, and the remaining amount, in that very amount again, some has to also go to, I think, profit to the contractor, which at the end of the day, we also have to look at the scope of work that the contractor was given, which was, I think, the pitch, the wall fence, I think improvising the terraces, and the ticket booth and all that. Was it done up to standard, or was it below standard? What other areas of need that may be needed? But so far, the NCC is happy, and for me, I think I'm quite happy with the work that was done. I think the standard of the pitch is so much better than it was back then. So yeah, people, it has faced a lot of criticism from people. I think the photos of the terraces and the like, they they cause so much debate. But it's a it's a work. I think it's a step in the right direction for us as a country.
All right, Lawrence, you've heard Lameck's submission. I want to get your comment also concerning that stadium in Solwezi. We've seen the noise, and you've also seen the pictures of what was coming out. Are you satisfied with the comment from NCC, and are you also satisfied with the work that was done there?
Okay, Reuben, let me talk a little bit from a professional point of view on this particular matter. Let's just, for instance, let's talk of a house. Let's bring it to a household level. Reuben, you have a house and you need some renovations to be done. So you go out, you find a company, and you tell them, well, the problem that I have is in my bathroom. I need my bathroom to be worked on. The toilet, the bathtub, I need them to be replaced, and I need tiles in there. I need tiles, both wall and floor in that bathroom. And then go to the bedroom. You fix my closet. The doors are not very much okay. I need them to be fixed. And then you go to the kitchen and fix my kitchen unit and all that. Agreed. Then probably following day, people see your house has been sealed off, that there's some works that are going on. And those works are done. And then probably, let's say after a few weeks, you reopen your house, and people come in the house because they saw some construction works going on, and probably they were thinking, obviously, nyumba penta bafaka matiles ya new bashitachani upgraded, and then they come in, they just go to the living room and they don't see any difference, and they start talking about what was happening here. I think this is the case that we have with the stadium in Solwezi. It's exactly the scenario that we have. If you look at the scope of works, it clearly defines exactly what you want the contractor to do. And things that were described in the contract, the scope of works, were worked on. Unfortunately, when people heard that there were innovations happening at Solwezi ground, at that particular stadium in Solwezi, the pictures that came to the minds of people, probably others were seeing it, it's going to be like Levi Mwanawasa Stadium. Others in their heads that they have already pictured the Hero Stadium in those lines, and when they see the finished product, they are actually amazed and surprised and do not understand exactly what is going on. So what is important here is, I think, going forward, FAS should be clear in the kind of works that are being done. If you just leave it in a blanket like that, to say we are renovating and upgrading the Solwezi Stadium, end of story, people have massive expectations, and you cannot limit the expectations of people. Obviously, people think big. There are people who think big. Give them a plot where they'll start thinking upstairs, chan, things like that. And it's very normal. You can't blame people like that. You cannot stop people from thinking big. So what is important is the communication that comes from fans. Let them be clear. Let them try to be specific on what exactly is being upgraded in that particular facility and what exactly is being worked on. unlike leaving it in the blanket and in a nutshell like that, people start thinking everything anyway.
All right. Let me cross over to Mr. Abia. Mr. Abia, at least for you, you've got an example for DK Stadium. It was one of the stadium that was recently renovated. How were the works done on the DK, and are you satisfied with them? Because even there, are people still expressing concerns, despite I've seen some people in Chipata saying they were happy with the pitch.
Yeah, Reuben, to tell you the truth, it's not all the people who are happy with the works that was done at TK Stadium. You know, I think last time out, when I speak to one of sportsmanship here in Eastern Province, the only thing that they could tell me is that I think my thinking capacity is going beyond what was written on the document. Because on the document and what was done is clearly the same. This is why the ESCO said they are satisfied with the work. But when I speak with them, a lot of questions were asked because I wanted to know the truth. But somehow they hide it. I think they even gave me a note to say that I am hating my own president, past president, Andrew Kamanga. But I said, no, that's lack of information coming out from the what? From administration. I think what Lawrence has said is just what I said. Because when you are saying you are innovating, you are expanding the stadium, explain to people how you want to be expanded and how the scope of work will be done, so that their expectation and the work that will be done, they will compare, they will find that it's positive. But I'm telling you, Reuben, if you go to DK right now, you won't find some paint that was painted in the, they said, in the so-called said VPI section, VIP section. VIP section, Reuben, is just the same like the like in the open wing, Reuben, so to say. So the state has already started going out, and the people are saying, "Is this a VIP section?" Okay, what is first doing with a lot of that cash? I think there have been some questions, Reuben. So after I saw pictures from Solwezi Stadium, and then compared it to DK Stadium, I said, I think this is a lack of information coming out from PALS. Why they can't say, okay, we are publishing stories on how our stadium is going to be expanded and how the school is going to be done, so that us people should get correct information than just exaggerating or just thinking on our own. So this has resulted into many people and many fans to have a doubtful mind on how they operate this thing. They think that some of cash they are going to their own pockets. Maybe somewhere it's not like that. So I think it's lack of information coming out from past, because the work that we've seen and what we are expecting is totally different from them. It's a totally different. So I don't know if DK will be repainted again, because a lot of paint Reuben have already gone out. It's like you now are sitting on the cement or in the floor to say, as paint without painting. So I think anyway, they are saying they are satisfied with the work. That means what the contractor followed what is on the written document. So we don't know what was written in the document. So we have to say, all right, this is a scope of work that has taken me $300,000 million or dollars. So say, this is what I can say, Reuben. This is my submission.
All right, Lawrence, are you for the idea, like the way FAS did it, just to divide the money to renovate about five stadia, instead of maybe just concentrating on one with all that money to make something beautiful and have the stands and all that work is done, than just doing maybe the pitch and the rest just remain like that? Because up to now, if we were to host AFCON, still these stadiums that we've done the renovations do not qualify to host such a tournament.
Okay. Personally, the way I see it is that actually it would be prudent if we had concentrated the funds on one particular facility and utilized that money just there so that we can have bigger results for one facility. But the problem that we have in this country is, let's say, for instance, Reuben, picture this. If they picked a ground in Southern Province and worked on it with the whole amount of money, what will the other provinces have said? If they did the same or somewhere else, let's say in Eastern Province, you would have heard because the first president I want to say it's very difficult actually to please everybody in this country because we have so much in windows and I think we play too much politics in almost everything. We are at a place as a country where everything somehow diverts into politics. Even when you try to talk about things that are beneficial to the country, people will look at it with that political eye. They'll try to start analyzing this one. The angle that is looking at, is this one red or green or whichever colors, and that is where we are as a country. So it becomes very difficult for FAS, I think, in my own understanding, for them to concentrate on one facility because everybody will start asking questions. What about this side? What about this side? Already, if you look at the team that went to represent Zambia at the Africa Cup of Nations just recently, people were asking, hey, why is it that almost everyone in the team is from this particular area of the country or that particular area of the country? And when you look at it, actually, it's true. But it's not like people are picked because of the name. It's because of the talent. It's because of their game. That's all. That's the basis. And somehow you find that even the players who are picked coming from certain regions, and then it looks like there is a situation where only players from certain particular parts of the country are picked, which is not true. And this is where we are as a country. So I really don't envy Mr. Kamanga at this point in time because I think he has to rebut some of these things over and over and over and over. I think it becomes tedious, it becomes tiresome for people in those offices, and in the end you find they keep quiet when people are talking in such lines, and deep down they are thinking, how do we please everybody? So you just share a bit this side, a bit this side, a bit that side, a bit that side, so that everybody gets a piece of the cake. And I think that's where we are.
Sorry, Tim, I don't know if you're able to hear me. I'm having some connectivity issues.
Loud and clear, Reuben, we can hear you.
All right. What's happening this weekend in terms of fixtures in the Zambian Super League? We'll be entering week 24. If our director can also give us the log table so that we can be looking and referencing to the log table. But the big game, we've started talking about it in the background with Lameck. Lameck, I want to start with you. Green Buffaloes versus ZSL game. We know ZSL, after the restart of this second round of fixtures, they have not yet won a game, 3 draws, and this is a team that was topping the league, but now they're second, away, running away from Red Arrows, who are the log leaders now. Who do you think is going to carry the day? Because Green Buffaloes also want to run away from the relegation zone. It's Green Buffaloes versus ZSL at Edwin Mbwela.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear
get
you
me?
loud and clear.
Yeah, so I think for ZSL United, it's just a slump in form that they faced at the start of the the matches after the AFCON break. If you look at the point difference against Red Arrows, it's just one game. They win, Red Arrows loses, then they would be equal on points, just separated by goal difference. So, in as much as they failed to win their last 3 matches, they're still not far away from the top. So we can't rule them out. I think one team that is coming up into this chase is Power Dynamos, who are just 5 points below Red Arrows, and I think Power have shown a bit of consistency. We wait to see what Oswald Mutapa would do with this Power team. But going back to Zesco United again, I think it's just been a test of character for Zesco United. Can they go the way? And also the recruitments that they brought in January, can they look back at the Jesse where can he give them the necessary goals that he needs? That Zesco United needs badly at this point. So it's a big question, but for Buffaloes again, they are just above the relegation zone by 2 points. So I think they'll be fighting for every point in this game and get whatever they can get out of this match. It's a difficult match, but I'm sure I would easily go for a Zesco win in this one.
A Zesco win. How do you look at it, Mr. Abia? You also love seeing Green Buffaloes, but they're not performing this season.
Yeah, they have been struggling indeed, but the younger boys, when they're playing with these big clubs like Zesco United, Banda, and these Power Dynamos, I think they play really well. So I think I doubt a win for Zesco because Green Buffaloes, I think they are, even though they are underperformance, but they can perform wonders in this picture. So for me, I think point will be shared. That means 1 point for Zesco, 1 point for Green Buffaloes. That means it's a draw result for me. That's what I can predict. Because even in Zesco United, they are not in form. They have only in 5 or 6 games, they have only 1 win or 2 wins, so like that. So I think many draws, it's their positive results. So I think a draw would be a pass for Zesco United.
Let's look at another Lusaka derby. Zanaco will be hosting, and one of the impressive teams this season in Nkwazi. Zanaco, we know they're in the mid-table with young players and developing. We saw them getting their first win after the restart, beating Prison Leopards away last week, and they are home to Nkwazi Lameck.
Zanaco against Nkwazi has always been a tricky Lusaka derby. Yes, at Sunset Stadium, I think Zanaco has always gotten, majority of the times, they've always gotten the upper hand. But if you look at the performance of Zanaco, yes, they beat Prison Leopards last week, but it wasn't so much of an inspiring performance. If you look at how they performed against Leopards in Kabwe, I think the 5-0 bashing against the Mufulia Wanderers is still haunting Zanaco, and I think they're still under pressure to get back to winning ways. I think maybe win 2 back-to-back matches, and this is a good opportunity to improve their standing on the table. Of course, the difference between them and Nkwazi is quite a difference, 6 points over 2 matches. But for Zanaco again, is it a season that we may look at them as underperforming? Yes, we've seen a number of their fans voicing out, a lot of different opinions about how the club is being run, the types of players that they've gotten, the quality of the players that they've gotten. I think it's been an average season for Zanaco. I think rushing to the end of the season, I think we may not see so much from this Zanaco team. I think it's they are currently undergoing a transition where I think they're trying to change the team. I think it has seen a lot of new players coming in. They've brought in a lot of fresh blood. They've also brought in a number of foreign players, but can they perform? That would be another question. But from Kwazi, it's a consistency that they showed in the first round and also at Mutapa. And then if you look at them again, they're just 8 points away from the top. So they may be fighting for a continental place, or they may be fighting for a top 4 place, depending on their ambitions. But it's a difficult match, and I think it will be difficult to pick a winner in a match like that one.
All right. And also, Lameck, what is happening to Kawe Warriors? A team that was doing fine before we went on break, but when you came back, no win so far in 3 games, and they host now a tricky Concola Blades team.
Is that for me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think for Cabo Warriors, I think it's just a question of I think for Numba again, it's just a question of can we get this team back performing to the level that they were performing, I think, in the first round. Because if we can quickly go back to the early matches of the first round, at some point we saw Cabo Warriors going top of the league. They had won 4 back-to-back games. They had beaten clubs such as Power Dynamos in that run. With fans in Kawe already, prophesying that they would win the league at the end of the season, but they were hit by a really bad patch, and until now, I think they've just they just haven't gotten back that form where they could go and see matches out. It's a difficult patch, but again, maybe it may be attributed to the pressure that they faced when they went top of the league. When you go top of the league, it requires a lot of mental strength from the players because almost everyone that you're playing with wants to beat you. Almost everyone that is playing wants to prove a point. So it's difficult for Warriors now, but I hope they can get a win over Concola in their next match and get back to winning ways.
All right, Mr. Abia, Red Arrows host Prison Leopards. Red Arrows, the log leaders, and so far so good for them. No loss, only a draw against Mfulira Wanderers, and they host Prison Leopards, one of the struggling teams this season. Even after the bringing on of Lameck Banda, the team is still struggling. Who do you think is going to carry the day at Nkoloma Stadium? Red Arrows welcome Prison Leopards.
I think that game I'll give it to the Airmen, Red Arrows, to carry the day because Red Arrows at Nkoloma Stadium, they are a team to watch and they are also a good side. And talking about the Prison Leopard, yes, they are struggling, but sometimes when you underrate them, that's when they are surprising you with some big punches and they can only punch you with one punch and then they will defend and then they will go. So I think this time around, I believe with the full strength here that Red Arrows will continue. We want to maintain that reach on the road. So I think uh, Prison Leopard, they are in water there. I think they'll be carried in the Bamboo, like Bamboo there. That's my prediction.
All right. Thanks very much. Let me welcome Bwezan. Bwezan, good evening. Welcome to Unto Sports.
Thank you so much. Just was caught up with some few things, and I know I'm joining late, but look, it's always important to make it, even if it is very late.
All right. Let me just hear your comment. It's Women's Day and a big news for Barbra Banda.
So it's definitely massive. I keep telling people that there's an imaginary competition of who is better between Barbra Banda and Rachel Kundananje, and this is something that will keep going. Rachel Kundananje has his favorites, and Barbra Banda has his favorites. And now we all know 740, all those amounts of money. It's just good. I think for me, I'm very excited because look, this China joke was becoming too much, and we all hoped that she would actually move and get either in the UEFA or in America, where she has actually chosen. So it's huge, very big, big, big information and news for the country.
All right. We've seen most players being signed with breaking records as most expensive players, going to clubs, having that pressure. They fail to perform. Are you confident that Kundananji and Barbara Banda, with this now pressure, because all the media houses will be looking at the most expensive players in the world in terms of women's football? Do you think are they going to overcome the pressure that comes with that?
Yeah, well, these are professional players, and I think they have played at the highest level now. CSF Madrid is not a small team in Spain. So this is one player that honestly has actually been tested at the high level. Okay, then we get to Barbara Banda. Who wouldn't know? I mean, the stages that she has actually played, the WAFCON, the Olympics. Forget about the COSAFA. I think she knows exactly what pressure is actually awaiting her. Look, just the qualifier against Ghana will tell you the mindset of these players. Okay, of course, we didn't see a lot about Kundananji in the second round, in the second game, but of course, she is the one who earned us those 3 points that she got away in Ghana. So for me, I think they are able to actually contain the pressure and just make sure that they actually manage. The only thing that we need is for them to manage their fame, okay? Because I think this thing is happening too fast in the lives of these girls, and most of the time when such things happen, you get overshadowed by fame. And when fame gets to the players, especially, these are girls, then disaster starts mounting. Okay. Um, you can see the difference in Kundananji in her first game in Ghana and the game that she played. She was seriously playing now that I'm in the Levi Manasseh Stadium around the fans of Zambia, you understand? You could see that she wanted to do a lot at the same time. And we also the results. So this is what they should manage. Fame, it shouldn't get to them. They should actually take these signings as the same signings that they had in their past games, okay, past teams rather. So for me, that's the biggest thing. But about the pressure, I know they can handle it. But the fame is something sometimes that just goes off the wind. You understand what I mean? So the attitude, just the way they portray themselves, it should be very important. And this is the point where the managers of these players come in to just model them, to understand that they are still the same. Nothing has changed. That's what is very important. I'll give you a practical example I'm talking about the fame and how much it affects players. I want you to observe Patson Daka, Enoch Mwepu, those that are under the agents of Kanute. You definitely see the difference. Okay? When the fame comes to their head, you practically see how they manage it. You understand? Cool, calm, collected. And that's the role of the managers. And unfortunately, the managers that we have these days, they are more on the financial aspect of it and not on the management of the player himself. That's where the challenge is. So I'm hoping, especially for the girls, I'm hoping their managers would actually just help them keep calm, play their game. I can still give you a number of players, Mo Salah, Mane, understand. There are a number of players that you can actually see the discipline on how they actually manage their fame. Okay, and you can actually see the discipline on how they actually strip that fame.
Right. We're actually wrapping up. I don't know what you see. Uh, Games in the Zambian Super League are coming so quick and so fast, and wanted to get your comment concerning week 2024. That's tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be very quickly. I think, look, I will be honest, say there are only three teams that are actually chasing the title. That is Red Arrows, Zesco United, and Forest. So a champion is going to come from these three. For now, if Red Arrows wins the remaining games, then they are champions because they have that three points gap between them and Zesco United. So I'm seeing them beating Prison Leopards. Prison Leopards have actually never beaten Red Arrows before, and I'm not seeing it starting tomorrow. So that's quite evident that Red Arrows are seriously favourite in that. The Mopani Derby, even their sponsors will be in the stadium. Reuben, I'm privileged that I'll also be in the stadium for the Mopani Derby. The fact that I'll be working on that game, I declare interest for now. But I think it will be a very interesting game. It will seriously be a very interesting game, that one. Okay. Then Green Eagles against Forest Rangers. These are two teams that are seriously fighting with form. Forest Rangers is the weakest actually. So I see Green Eagles trying to get something out of that game and they can get it. Mutondo is going to beat Napsa Stars. I'm very confident. Mutondo will beat Napsa Stars. Trident will lose to FC Musa. Okay, I don't know if there's any other game that I've left, but for me, this is the dimension I'm seeing. What will be interesting is at the bottom who goes out and who remains.
You've looked at the Kansanshi game, Kansanshi then Power Dynamos.
I have a soft spot for Kansanshi, so it was deliberate. Yeah,
We
but
leave it
look,
there.
they
Yeah.
are different. They are different forms, but I think Power Dynamo is much stronger. But this team is not easy to beat at Independence Stadium in Kansanshi Dynamos. They may actually come up and get something out of that game. For me, according to the way Power Dynamos played against Green Buffaloes, if they go with that same spirit, then Kansanshi Dynamos definitely be getting a point from that game.
All right. Thank you very much, Bwezani. Thank you, Lawrence and Abia, and also Lameck, who joined us for this week's edition of Ubuntu Sports. We've come to the end, and we'll be watching the games tomorrow as it happens in the Zambian Super League, and wish Barbra Banda all the best as she starts a new journey with Orlando Pride. For now, we say goodbye and God bless you. Enjoy the weekend.